Hi everybody. Today we'll be discussing principles of chemotherapy, a frequently asked question in the university examinations. And again, this is a revision of what you read in pharmacology and pathology. Now we are looking at the same problem from a surgeon's point of view. How a clinician, a surgeon who daily deals with malignancies, cancer, look at these things. In fact, when you compare with a physician, 50% of the surgical work consisting of dealing with malignancies, skin cancer, you take thyroid cancer, take GIT, stomach cancer, colon cancer, pancreas cancer. Again, unlike the work of a physician, 50% of the work of a surgeon in a PG center consists of dealing with malignancies. Now, there are different modes for treatment of malignancies. One is surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, immunotherapy, and so on. To understand this, the principles of chemotherapy, we have to revisit your pharmacology and also your pathology. Just a revisit. This is not a purely pathological class, pathology class, nor a pharmacology class. Okay. Now, the name cancer itself comes to us from Greek and Latin words for a crab. So, both languages have a similar word, crab, that is cancer. This word is derived from the claw-like blood vessels extending over the surface of an advanced breast cancer. That's how this cancer is explained similar to a crab. Cancer has always been with us. Dinosaur fossils 60 million years ago. 60 million years ago show evidence of cancer. Even Egyptian mummies had cancer. So this cancer is with us for a very long time since the humanity when begins. Since then we are living with this cancer. Now, going to the epidemiology, you have just completed SPM, non-communicable diseases. Now, cancer kills more people globally than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. That is the incidence. And unfortunately, in India, most of the cases, 4 out of 5 cases, they present at a late or advanced stage, making the prognosis worse, increasing the mortality. The cancer cell, what is happening is the proliferation is uncontrolled. Ability to spread to different areas of the body, you can't stop it. It is unstoppable. Now, this is what is happening. You look at this. Normal cell, it is division. Then, there is a problem at this stage. Now, there are only 2 options. Either it must get repaired or cell should undergo apoptosis. You know what the meaning of this apoptosis? This is a programmed cell death. The cell must die, cell suicide or apoptosis. Or the damage must be repaired. Unless this is done, this cell cannot pass into the next phase of the cycle. Now, what is happening in the cancer cell division? There is a mutations, multiple mutations occurring first, second, third, fourth, or so on. Then you have uncontrolled growth. This uncontrolled growth, unstoppable growth, doesn't serve any purpose. It is a substandard version and it kills the local tissues first and ultimately the host. This is called loss of normal growth control because we have no control over it. The relentless progress destroys first the tissue, ultimately the host. Host will be destroyed. First, local tissues. This is the cell cycle, very important. Why, you may wonder why we are going through this pathology and pharmacology. To have a better and clear understanding of chemotherapy, how it works, what are the indications, what are the limitations, what is the future. To have a comprehensive understanding, you need to know the pathology and also pharmacology. Now, any cell and every cell undergoes this. G2, again, recollecting with anatomy, gap 2 or G2, then mitosis. G1 or gap 1, S DNA synthesis phase. And you have sometimes cells goes into G0, that is the resting phase. No activity here. After it may be recruited into G1 phase again, and the cell cycle continues. To ensure the smooth and coordinated passing from one phase to another phase, there are something called checkpoint controls. These are largely governed by oncogenes, commonly P53 oncogenes. These genes keep a balance. They see that this phase passes smoothly here. An interesting factor is, unless this stage is completed perfectly, cell will not enter into the next phase. There is a problem in G2 phase. Now what happens? Either it must get repaired or this cell must die. Unlike in vitro, in vivo, there is no recommendation. I cannot say there are a group of cells with a problem in G2 phase. You just make them to pass them on to next stage M. No, it doesn't happen in the body. Your recommendations, lobbying works only outside the body. That is the remember. Nature is very tough. We can think, we can fiddle with nature, we can play, but ultimately when it strikes back, like that Star Wars Emperor strikes back, we have no chance. No chance. Each phase must be completed perfectly. Then only enter into the next stage. Something like your semester. Once you complete the semester perfectly, you enter into the next semester. This checkpoint controls is something like your examination. At each phase, you will have to go through the examination, enter into the next semester. It is similar to that. G0, refractory to most of the chemotherapy drugs. It doesn't work here. And G1, proteins and RNA are synthesized. Synthetic phase, yes, DNA synthesis occurs here. G2, gap 2, multiple spindles are happening. And in M, mitotic, genetic material is segregated. These are the major events in each phase of this cycle. Okay, unless proteins and RNA are synthesized perfectly, it cannot go for DNA synthesis. Unless DNA synthesis is perfect, it cannot enter into G2 phase. Unless G2 phase is complete and perfect, it cannot go into the M phase. That's how nature regulates the division of billions of cells in our body daily. Daily it is happening. And see the control. Now, this is a pictorial diagram. What is happening? Cell with a chromosome in the nucleus, G1 phase, now entering into the synthetic phase. DNA synthesis, chromosome duplication occurring. G2 gap 2, cell with duplicated chromosomes. Okay, 2 chromosomes. And mitosis, chromosomal separation occurring, and you have cell division. And again, each cell enters into the G1. Sometimes from mitosis or G1 cells enter into G0, resting phase, no cellular activity taking place. They are resting like a reserve, reserve cells. Whenever they are called for, they are recruited again into this cell cycle. Okay, this is a pictorial description of what we just described. Now, Hanahan and Robert Winberg, They described some cells typical for these cancer cell lines. They are established in autonomous lineage, independent of supply and demand. Generally, the supply depends upon the demand. Okay. Now, oncogenes are a key factor in this process. That's why I said P53 and of course P60. Cell proliferation when needed, healing of a wound. There is a breach of skin. From both sides, cells proliferate. The idea is to bridge the gap. And it ceases when is no longer required. That is a normal control. That is called contact inhibition. Again, recollecting your pathology, it is known as contact inhibition. When two cells comes together, it sends a signals, no more growth is required. You have reached the target, please stop. And the cell proliferation stops there. And this is very well coordinated. There are checks and balances. There is a proliferation. When it meets the demand, it ceases. See, such a beautiful, wonderful things happening in the body. In billions of cells daily, they are controlled by checks and balances. For everywhere, even nature puts checks and balances. Immortality. In Leonard Hayflick 1962 described that each mammalian cell has a finite number of divisions between 40 to 60. You may wonder what will happen suppose a cell divides into 60 times. Then what happens? With each division, there is a shortening of end of chromosome, that is telomere. Now, once it reaches 60 divisions, the telomere shortening occurs. It is a molecular clock, and the cell will not divide, it will die. Because it has performed its duty. 40 to 60 times, it is programmed and it is divided. Now, these cancer cells use telomere as an enzyme to rebuild the telomere at each cell division. So the cell never die out. It is achieved immortality. See, this is the difference between a normal cell and a cancer cell. Normal cell dividing 40 to 60 times maximum, then it must die. Here, by using telomerase to rebuild the ever-shortening telomere at the end of the chromosome, the cells, cancer cells achieve immortality. And apoptosis, it is a programmed cell death. Okay. And this is avoided by cancer cells. In fact, apoptosis is a physiological phenomenon. It is like a falling dead leaf from a tree. That's how the name is originated. As it is a physiological process, there is minimal inflammatory response. It is an orderly process. Then you compare with necrosis, which is disorderly, disorganized. It is an orderly process. Because it is physiological, there is minimal or no inflammatory response. This is an important self-regulatory mechanism in growth and development of each cell. So, apoptosis is an important self-regulatory mechanism. What is required, that is achieved. What is not required, it is stopped. That's how body maintains the homeostasis. Now, angiogenic competence. These cancer cells, suppose a tumor, when it reaching 1 mm, it requires blood supply. Okay. Most of the times, clinically, we cannot detect a 1 mm or 2 mm tumor. Very difficult clinical unless it is in 10 millimeters or more. But starting from 1 mm, it requires blood supply. So it strengthens the existing blood supply. One, it lays new blood supply lines to allow the progress of this tumor. Now, ability to form blood vessels is a key factor of malignant transformation. Okay, that means it forms a new blood vessels, which are not named anatomically. They are new. If you take the pathology, they are slightly different from a normal blood vessel. They tend to bleed more, tend to be more friable, and this is an important therapeutic implication. If we can control the ability to form blood vessel by cancer cell, you can control the growth of the tumor. One of the common drugs used to control the neovascular is this. You already read in pathology, in the pharmacology, we're just revisiting this. This is a common drug used to control new blood vessel formation in a malignant growth. We are finding different ways we are fighting, like COVID virus. So one is you cut supply the blood supply, give chemotherapy to kill the drugs, do surgery to remove what is physically visible, you remove the tumor. Immunotherapy increase the body's defense to fight against the cancer. It is something like a COVID fight, what we are doing now. Social distancing, self protection, hygienic measures, all these things. And these cancer cells has no respect for structures of normal tissues. They demolish these barriers like fascia, muscles, bones. They cross them because there is interstitial pressure in a tissue. Extracellular matrix is dissolved so that cells acquire motility. From here they can pass somewhere because extracellular matrix, which is normally present, is dissolved. They breach the basement membrane. Once basement membrane is breached, there is access to blood and lymphatic vessels. Till then, basement membrane not breached, these are not invaded. Production of proteolytic enzymes allow cancer cells to pass through basement membrane. Basement membrane acts as a barrier, but by producing these proteolytic enzymes, the cancer cells seep through this basement membrane, gain access to blood and lymphatic vessels. The ability to disseminate and implant, unrestrained proliferation. This is already we discussed, lack of contact inhibition. When there is a wound, normal person, physiology, how a wound heals. Then the breach of skin, say, the two edges, they grow, and when they come in contact with toe, there is a contact inhibition. It sends signals that no more growth is required, the gap is, or the breach is completed. The breach is fulfilled. So no more, it stops. Whereas these cancer cells, by secreting collagenase and proteases, dissolves extracellular matrix. There is no contact inhibition and extracellular matrix is dissolved. And they evade detection and elimination by body's immunity by suppressing the immunity. This is the one pathological condition where cancer, the body immunity is suppressed. And the treatment, if you give chemotherapy, the immunity is further suppressed, or radiation, gain further suppressed. Because of suppressed immunity, the cancer cells evade detection by the body's defense, immunity, and they protect themselves from the elimination of the body. There is genomic instability, mutations occurring, we have already seen, second, third, fourth, number of mutations, hundreds mutations occurring. Genomic instability. And malignant transformation, multiple mutations are necessary. Oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes, they play a definite role. Example in carcinoma colon. Because oncogenes themselves, which are supposed to suppress the tumor cells, they themselves are suppressed. There is a defective function of oncogenes. Common example, P53. So these are defective function. They allow the tumor cells to proliferate. An infinite number of identical cells are produced. Though functionally inferior quality, but infinite number. There is a relentless progress. Waste cells, they go on producing. They doesn't perform any useful function. They divide each cell, invade, produces metastasis, and finally destroy. See, the each cell which is produced by cancerous growth, they divide multiple times. We know how they achieved immortality, how there is lack of contact inhibition, how they secrete proteolytic enzymes, how they obtain motility. By that, these features they invade other tissues, produces metastasis, and destroys the tissue. Now, in this function, because number of cells are produced, there is always a limiting factor of blood supply, one, space, another. So what they do, these specialized functions may be sacrificed by these cells. Okay. Then the specialized functions may be sacrificed. Cells become a normal cell. For example, a thyroid cell, metastasis, may lose the ability to synthesize thyroid hormones. This is called jettison excess baggage, commonly practiced in airplanes, aircrafts, air journeys. Okay. They subvert communications between and within the cells so that they can proliferate relentlessly and unstoppably. To facilitate this, they suppress the communications. Sabotage, like an enemy who sabotages our communications, they do the same thing. A similar thing. Now, spread can occur through blood, through lymphatics, through coelomic spaces, and because of these proteolytic enzymes, there is lack of cell-to-cell adhesion. They are loose, free bodies. They can go anywhere, and increased motility is another factor. So increased motility combined with the lack of cell-to-cell adhesion, free cells, loose cells. A loose person can talk anything. Similarly, a loose cell can go anywhere in the body, either going to the coelomic space, or it can travel through lymphatics, or blood, or local structures, anywhere it can go. These metalloproteinase enzymes, this is what we are talking, how the basement is breached, the cell adhesions are destroyed, cells become free. Some organs, liver, lung, and bone are favorite sites for metastatic growth. These are some of the few favorite sites in the body, liver, common. From all this intrahepatic circulation, from liver to lung, bone may go to bone, may go to CNS. Anywhere it can go. Example, this is what is happening. This is in situ cancer. This is an intact basement membrane. Okay, this is the intact basement membrane. Cancer confined to epidermis. This is called CIS, cancer in situ or in situ cancer. Early stages. Then, because of these proteolytic enzymes, this membrane is breached. Invasion of the tumor border. Once it breaches, they have access to both lymphatic and blood vessels. Now, cell enters into the lymphatics. Next, it goes into the blood vessel, again breaching the blood vessel wall. You see how the blood vessel wall is breached. Intraversion of the circulatory system, it survives and is transported, say from thyroid to somewhere. In the hip bone, it is transported. And somewhere it gets arrested, it is stopped, and it has chosen this site, it proliferates. Commonly, not invariably. The ends of the long bones, the vertebra, spine, the cranium, the ribs, these are the common sites or favorite sites for the tumor cells to grow. And once they reach the lungs, they may be dormant like a sleeper cell for a long time, producing occult micrometastases. With angiogenesis, they become progressive colonization occurs with angiogenesis. We have seen this is a very important characteristic of a cancer cell is the ability to produce new blood vessels because it has to survive. It requires blood. Cells are rapidly dividing. So it lays down its own supply lines. This is called angiogenesis. Now, cancer is a disease of cells. The abnormal cells need to be seen, either pathological or cytological. Commonly, what happens is common cancer. Okay, we take a breast cancer, then somebody takes a mammogram, they look at the film and says, well, you have cancer. That is wrong. That is a blunder. Okay, what you should tell, it is suggestive of malignancy. It needs confirmation, like our COVID virus. We do a rapid test, then we go for a confirmation test, which may take 2 to 3 days. Okay, like that, it needs a confirmation. It is only suggestive. That means never ever diagnose a malignancy by seeing an X-ray film or ultrasound. It is only suggestive. You need this is final test, either pathological or histopathological or cytological, FNAC or FNAB or FNA, whatever it is. You need this. You need either of these confirmation. Simply looking at a mammogram and telling somebody you have a cancer, that is the stupidest thing one can say. That fellow doesn't have any concept, any idea. He just passed okay and he knows nothing. That's what he is trying to tell us. Now, staging. Staging is done by two. International Union Against Cancer and the AJCC, American Joint Committee. Now, you may ask, why staging? Why a tumor should stage? Now, why stage a tumor? You have diagnosed, okay, leave it. Why you want to stage a tumor? Again, going back to pathology. Okay, because we deal with live cases, a live problem. Our view of perception is different from a pathologist. Okay. Now, to know the extent of the tumor, we need stage 1, 2, 3, or 4. And we know treatment protocols. Is it a surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, immunotherapy, or a combination of these that will be decided by the stage. And to assess the prognosis, stage 4, not very good. Stage 1, early cancer, well, good prognosis. One example is, okay, good stage 1, early stages, good prognosis. Advanced stages, poor prognosis. And sharing of information from different centers. What we are teaching you is internationally accepted. We teach only from standard textbooks, not from a local textbooks. So anyway, you go to tomorrow some Western country, you can quote this, they accept because it is internationally accepted. We don't tell the local practices. They are not accepted internationally. Universally, they are not accepted. You go to states, United States, what we are telling, it holds good there because it's internationally accepted, not something locally available stuff. Now, treatment of cancer comes surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, or most of the times We'll have a combination of these things. To achieve maximum results, we need a combination of these things. Surgeon is always have a cardinal role. He's the leader of the team. Remember, he is coordinating the multidisciplinary management. He's the captain of the team. He's the team leader. Surgery, always. And for most solid tumors, surgery is the only definite treatment and only realistic hope of cure. If you say you want some cure, go for surgery. Other modalities, they will not achieve this hope. Your hope is delayed. And physical removal of all identifiable disease, that is surgery. So physically we remove all identifiable disease. That is a surgery. And coming to non-surgical treatment. Today we are dealing with chemotherapy, non-surgical treatment. We'll focus more on non-surgical treatment. Radiotherapy, word about radiotherapy. Roentgen in Germany, from Germany, discovered X-rays in 1890. And he is awarded Nobel Prize in Physics in 1900. Okay. And within a month of discovering the X-rays, the doctors started using them for therapy. Now, how best to use them, how it affects tumors and normal tissues, even after nearly more than 100 years, we still do not have a clear-cut answers. Still, number of questions remain unanswered. Okay, unanswered. In the radiotherapy, how the best it works. It is ongoing research. Now, coming to the chemotherapy, he is supposed to be the father of modern chemotherapy. Examining a little boy. Chemotherapy, basically, it is rarely sufficient to cure a disease by itself. Generally, we give some other thing, combined with some other modality like a surgery, or maybe immunotherapy, maybe radiotherapy, maybe biotherapy, something you combine. It is palliative rather than curative. Remember this. The leader is surgeon. Okay. Now it is palliative rather than curative. When low volume disease is present, well, it gives best results. Toxicity is a limiting factor. You cannot go on increasing the dose. Why? The limiting factor is toxicity. It is palliative, that's what we have said, not curative. In more than 95% of drugs are identified for chemotherapy by US FDA, Food and Drugs Administration, of which 65% are cytotoxic, 15% are hormonal therapy, 15% are targeted therapy, that is targeted therapy is monoclonal antibodies. Now again, coming back to the cell cycle, these chemotherapy agents may act at more than one phase of cycle. They are called phase specific, phase non-specific. Phase non-specific means they can occur at any of the phases. Okay. Again to recollect, G1 is growth, the gap 1. S is DNA synthesis phase. G2, growth and preparation for mitosis. M is mitosis cell division. From here to here, it may go into G0. Now, phase specific means this drug works only when the cell is in a specific phase. Say S, DNA synthetic phase, or G2 phase, or G1, like that. Phase non-specific means at any one of these phases, it is not specific, the cell may work. Chemotherapy drugs are classified on basis of their effects on biochemical pathways. Drug resistance, either intrinsic or acquired, is the main limiting factor. Combination chemotherapy, most of the times, will combine chemotherapy agents. The aim is we want maximum cell kill, one minimum side effects, and we're using drugs with different modes of action and different drugs. So, two similar toxic drugs should not be combined. It will worsen the toxicity. So, when you combine these drugs, combination chemotherapy, which is a common mode, will have different toxicities, different modes of action, minimum side effects. We want to achieve maximum cell kill. Chemotherapy generally given when there are distant metastases to decrease the tumor burden, again to increase the long-term survival. Repeatedly we are emphasizing cure is very rare or not achieved by chemotherapy alone. It is a side actor, supporting actor. The main hero is surgeon. Now, what is adjuvant chemotherapy? Or adjuvant therapy is after surgery. It may be chemotherapy, it may be radiotherapy, it may be hormonal therapy, but basically first surgery is done. That is called adjuvant. Now, adjuvant chemotherapy after surgery, when a high risk of distant recurrence is a possibility, micrometastatic disease, to decrease the relapse, to increase the survival rate, we'll go for adjuvant CT. That means surgery is done. Again, take a breast surgery, breast carcinoma, you do surgery in the stage 1 and 2, then go for adjuvant chemo. What is the aim is to decrease the micrometastatic disease, to decrease the relapse, to increase the survival. Now, what is neoadjuvant chemotherapy, induction chemotherapy, or pre-op chemotherapy? This is given as a short marks, 4 marks for you. We have seen adjuvant means after surgery. Neo, the name itself here, pre-op or induction. This is given before surgery. And why you want to give before surgery? Making the tumor operable. Stage breast carcinoma, stage 3, locally inoperable. You give neoadjuvant, induction, or pre-op chemotherapy, all the same, making it operable. And it is operable, but more conservative surgery can be offered in a particular case if you go for this treatment. Example, breast conservative surgery. Rather than radical, we can limit it. We can do more conservative surgery. And the treatment of micrometastasis without delay of postoperative recovery. This is another advantage achieved by this pre-operative. Because after surgery, you have to wait for some time, you have to wait for the wound to heal. Here, there is no problem like that. Already micrometastases are present, okay, we start treatment from the day 1. And again, this preoperative chemotherapy helps us in assessing response to chemotherapy. Whether these drugs, the tumor is responsive. Yes, it is responsive. It is regressive. Stage is downgraded. Okay. After surgery, we'll continue postoperatively same drugs because the tumor is responding to the drugs. How do we know? We have given neoadjuvant chemotherapy or induction chemotherapy or preoperative chemotherapy. We have tried. This is evidence-based medicine, not just simple talking. We have given, we have seen the tumor regress, we have done surgery, now continue with the chemotherapy agents, which you use it pre-operative. The disadvantage is of pre-operative chemotherapy, induction or neoadjuvant chemotherapy is the tumor progression occurs in some sarcomas. In spite of chemotherapy, the tumor may progress. and there may be delay or refusal of surgery. Once the tumor shrinks or disappears, the patient refuses, doctor, I will come later, I don't want surgery now because the tumor is regress. You have to counsel him properly that this is only part of the treatment. Something like your pictures up to interval. Again, after interval, you have to continue the treatment. So interval is not the end of the treatment. Only part of the treatment protocol we have completed. And if you take the CT, basically it is a first order kinetics because a constant percentage of cells and not constant number of cells are killed. Each cycle, a constant percentage of cells are killed. You cannot say constant number of cells. Now, mechanism of CT we are just talking. Phase non-specific. That means the cell is under the cell cycle. We are not worried about the phase G1, G2, S, or M. Cycle non-specific. That is non-dividing cells. Steroid hormones and anti-tumor antibiotics. That is an example where whatever may be the cycle, phase, non-specific these words. Whereas cycle specific, that is, but phase non-specific. Proceed through generations of cycles, injury at any point of the cycle. The cell is undergoing cell cycle. At any point, these may injure the cell. Example, alkylating agents. Phase specific, that is cycle specific, phase specific. Some particular phase like G1, G2. Example, mitosis, this vincristine and bleomycin acts in this phase only. Other phases, these don't work. S phase, DNA synthesis phase, methotrexate works. Methotrexate works in the S phase. Now, drug resistance, what is happening is, in a tumor, you take this tumor, different cells are in different growth compartments. Now, the cells which are dividing actively only most commonly affected. So growth fraction only affected. The remaining cells which are dormant, which are not dividing actively, are not affected by your chemotherapy. Combination chemotherapy, we have already seen different modes of action. We need a synergetic action. Like it is similar to your antibiotics, which you read in pharmacology. A common example, commonly used drug is amoxicillin clavulanic acid that is combined. Because different modes of action, the side effects are reduced. Okay. Now, take care to use agents with non-overlapping toxicity. And spatial cooperation means radiotherapy, chemotherapy. Now we'll just see that. This is the spatial cooperation. See, surgery works in the primary tumor. You remove whatever the tumor is physically present. Sometimes lymph nodes are also removed. Radiotherapy at the tumor and nodes may be irradiated. Again, breast carcinoma, axilla and the ipsilateral breast area, they are irradiated. This is radiotherapy. Whereas all these areas, chemotherapy can be affected. So this is called spatial cooperation. How to time it, how to progress it, how to program it. The first surgery or first chemotherapy, surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy. That is called, that's how you are planning, you are programming your treatment protocols. That is called spatial cooperation. Now, complications of CT, what happens? Though there are specific, commonly there will be nausea. Mucositis, because mucosal cells are rapidly divided. And alopecia is a common worrisome feature, but most of the chemotherapeutic agents, this is a transitory or temporary phenomenon. Once the chemotherapy is completed, they are expected to have a near normal hair growth. And you have seen a number of English movies where after chemotherapy they become just like Lord Buddha without any hair. But thank God, fortunately, in a majority of cases, this is a transient, a temporary phenomenon. Once the chemotherapy is completed, the person is likely to develop his near normal hair growth present, which is present before taking chemotherapy, near normal, almost. Now you take specific toxicity, doxorubicin is notorious for producing cardiac toxicity. Bleomycin, lung toxicity, fibrosis occurs. Renal toxicity, cisplatinum, methotrexate. I'm just giving a few broad examples because basically this is not intended to be a pharmacology class, but just recollecting, revisiting. Renal toxicity, common examples is platinum methotrexate. Bladder toxicity, cyclophosphamide. There's a few examples. Now, can you identify this gentleman? He's riding a bicycle. And you see all this, he's participating in a race. He's an American. You need further clues. And his name is similar, almost similar to a great person who achieved something first time in the history and known everywhere throughout the world. Who is that person? Oh, we have difficulty in identifying this person and we are going for another person. Anyhow, don't worry. Why this slide is kept? Not without much thought. Just see. Everything has a relevance to make things more interesting. Okay. And never lose in touch with your subject. More relevant, more interesting. Never leave in touch with your subject. Okay, his name, American cyclist, champion. Okay, his name is Lance Armstrong. Neil Armstrong, the first man to land on moon. Neil Armstrong, again America, is Lance Armstrong. He is a winner of Tour de France, the grueling cycling championship in France. It is very grueling. And see, 1999 and 2005, 7 years he became champion. Tour de France winner. But what is happening is, he admitted in 2013 that he used performance enhancing drugs like androgens and other drugs which are banned by anti-doping investigations. Any athlete is not supposed to take PED, performance enhancing drugs, before a competition. That's why you see in the Olympics or any major international competition, they test the urine or sometimes blood for this doping. So he admitted in 2013 and see the American system. He received lifetime ban from the sports and he stripped off all his weights. Now, how this is related to today's topic, you may be wondering. It's interesting, quite interesting, how rise and fall of Lance Armstrong. This brings us a lesson. In the West, people, they're very honest. If they commit a mistake, they admit. They may ruin their lives. Like one South African batsman who died in a helicopter crash, he also admitted. He is in a cricket ball tampering, he admitted, but unfortunately died in a, when investigation is going on, he died in a helicopter crash in South Africa. So he admitted that he used drugs, which he is not supposed to do. Any sports person, that is a malpractice, like some student copying from examination. Or people don't admit, but see the Western people, they admit that they have committed a mistake, they have committed a blunder. They apologize for it. Here in India, we don't do that. And one lie by a government minister will result in fall of that government investment. Here, nothing falls. Let the politicians talk 100 lies, nothing will happen. Anyhow, how this is related to today's topics is, see, testicular cancer strikes young people, that you remember. We have already seen that some cancers do not necessarily occur at a later stage, or don't say till 50 or 60, 70, I don't get cancer. That is a wrong concept. Some cancers strike at very early age. And one of the young age cancers is testicular cancer. You got a testicular cancer, that side ipsilateral testicle is removed. It is proved to be embryonal cell carcinoma. By the time he was diagnosed, he is having cerebral metastasis, lung metastasis, liver metastasis. Then what happened? This is a triumph of chemotherapy. He has undergone treatment in the United States, completely got rid of all the metastases, and went on to become Tour de France winner 7 times. This is the glory, this is the golden hour of chemotherapy. They used to quote him for the chemotherapy role model. Chemotherapy, what you have achieved. Young man with a cerebral metastasis, lung metastasis, liver metastasis. Now, after surgery, we have given adjuvant chemotherapy, completely cured, and that's not enough. He become 7 times world champion. Of course, he has fallen from that grace. That is a different issue. This is the achievement by chemotherapy. Now, again, some will just have a quick look. Some cancers work or respond tremendously to chemotherapy, commonly hematological malignancies like leukemias, lymphomas. Some cancers respond beautifully. Example this, testicular cancer, beautifully to chemotherapy. Some cancers respond, increase the overall survival. Example, breast cancer. Some cancers respond, but there is no increase in overall survival. Example, head and neck cancers. You have some palliation, but it doesn't improve the overall survival. Some cancers do not respond. Your esophageal cancer, then stomach cancer, it doesn't respond to your chemotherapy. And interestingly, melanoma. Melanoma is a chemo-resistant tumor. If somebody is lucky, he will fall in the 5 to 6% responsive group. Otherwise, he will be the majority, 4 to 95% do not respond to your chemotherapy in melanoma. That's how we classify. Okay, immunotherapy, again to boost up the immunity, BCG, levomethasone, you know that anti-helminthic drug, interferons, combi therapy, we have seen different actions, synergy, non-overlapping toxicities, biochemotherapy, chemotherapy plus interferon, interleukin you combine. Hormonal therapy for hormonal sensitive tumors. Now, tumor growth is blocked by inhibiting or antagonizing naturally occurring substances. Example, breast, tamoxifen, aromatase inhibitors. In endometrium again, and again prostate will give estrogens. Again, okay, because it inhibits the, at least controls the growth of the prostate cancer. Palliative care, again you see, surgeon, I telling surgeon is the team leader. This term is coined by Balfour Mount in 1973, surgeon from Canada. The aim is to improve the quality of life, not prolong it. In the end stages, to improve the quality. Now, prolonging is out of question. It is too advanced. You just palliative care, making the remaining days more comfortable. Immunotherapy, non-specific enhanced immunity, BCG, coronabacterium, levomethasone, again interferons, interleukins, targeted therapy. See here, the process involved in tumor growth factors rather than targeting the tumor cells. You inhibit the production of the tumor cells. by interfering the factors which result in tumor growth. And example is monoclonal antibodies. Now, International Union Against Cancer, World Cancer Day, join us on February 14. I am and I will fight cancer together. If cancer were simple, it would already have been cured. Now, any questions, you chart in the chat box. Now, any questions, you can chart in the chat box. Principles of chemotherapy, neoadjuvant chemotherapy, or adjuvant therapy, these are commonly given as a questions in the university examinations. We are revising the questions which you find it difficult to answer. This is a common practice in Andhra Medical College. We complete the syllabus, we take the question papers. We'll go through them, which you find it difficult. You need guidance, direction. We are ready to give that. And you are very lucky senior persons. Uh, in the next coming few weeks, HOD and other process will be taking classes for years of experience, years of being an examiner. Unlike a nearby college is where junior most persons, today I become assistant professor, I take class for you. I don't know what to tell you, where to focus, where to stress, because I have never been an examiner, never been in a paper setter, never nothing. So you consider yourself lucky. Senior most persons with years of experience, they are teaching. Now, any questions? If there are no questions, we'll close down. We are closing it down.